us all together. Lord, we gather in your name as children of a sovereign God. Forever we proclaim, to God be all glory.
Good morning. How you doing? It is Tuesday. It is Wednesday. It is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. Welcome to episode 619 of the Thinking Theologians. We continue our journey through the scriptures. So today we're finishing the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and 36. The title of today is Taking Care of the Priest. The focal scriptures in Numbers 35 verse 3, and this is what it says. It says, the cities will be for them to live in, and their pasture lands will be for their herds, flocks, and all of their animals. So today's devotion might seem a little self-serving, but it must be addressed. I've served as a pastor on staff at several churches. On most occasions, I believe the church did a very good job of taking care of me financially to meet the needs that we had as a family. Most churches were generous and would try and make sure our family was not in desperate need of anything so that we could minister well. Unfortunately, a few times I had churches make it very clear that I was a hired servant. My personal needs would not be met. And this often happened in the sense of time. My time and my family's time was not valuable or seen as valuable. I worked for them, and that's what they expected to do whenever it needed to be done. So that's just not a good way to go about doing things and taking care of people who are serving you and serving the church as a whole. Now, in today's reading, we find out that the Israelites were going to give some of the land to the Levites. And this was happening so they could receive payment for their dedication to the Lord. These cities would allow them to give rest to their people and prepare them for ministry. It would also allow them to feed, equip, and prepare their animals for worship and service. And so there's a lot of good need that was happening here with the land that was going on. And so this land met a very tangible need the priest had in their life, and that's what should happen. And so churches need to meet tangible needs in the lives of the people they're leading, or help lead them with the Lord. And so the challenge we face today is how to best honor the priest or pastor in your life. How can you do that? One thing is sure, when it comes to honoring these individuals, it rarely happens. Being on staff at a church, I can tell you receive more complaints than you do anything else. Complaints about how things are being done, what's going on, how you're doing things. My favorite is, I heard someone say, Pastor. They can't tell you who the someone is, but you hear, I heard someone say. And so, but it rarely happens. And I can give a great example to prove my point. I keep a file in my desk of all the papers and writings I have received that were positive. I have received way more negativity than positivity, according to my folder. And yet I'm expected to carry on given my position of ministry. And again, you don't go into ministry looking for pats on the back or getting accolades or being built up. And some people, view this as weakness. But you'd be surprised what a thank you can do to someone and how it changes their life. And it helps spur them on to do difficult things when the world around them is crumbling and falling apart. And I think people miss that, hey, I noticed what you did. Thank you and good job. And so what can be done on a practical level here to kind of help honor the priest and pastor in your life? First, start treating pastors as professionals. I can tell you, being in the student ministry as long as I have been, that most student pastors aren't treated as professionals, and sometimes rightfully so, because of the way they act and kind of what goes on, and just the immaturity that takes place. Pay them for the job and understand that they are always on call. You never turn off ministry. It never goes away. It is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when you're on vacation. It is hard to get away from it. People are always wanting things from you. I even had a church one time get upset with me when I was like, look, if it's not a major emergency, I don't need to know about it. I don't need to know what's going on vacation, because I'm trying to be present with my family. If I'm looking at my phone or if I'm accessible, then I'm not really resting and relaxing. And that's hard for people to kind of wrap their head around. And being on staff means very little downtime. You really don't get a whole lot of time off. Even when your day off, you don't have a day off. Usually something comes up. It also means too much time away from a family that is already sacrificed. Too much time for a family has already sacrificed. And to put this in an example, when I went back into the secular setting after being in ministry, full-time ministry for a long time, my kid made the comment to me that he saw me more working a 40-hour week, doing something 20 more hours a week. And he looked at me and said, I see you more now than I did when you were in full-time ministry. And that kind of tells you kind of how ministry is looked. And sometimes people would act like I wasn't doing enough. And that is, putting in 60 plus hours a week is ridiculous, not including Sundays as a work day for people who are on staff, because you're always on the go making decisions and what's going on. Rarely did you get a chance to sit and really truly worship with other people. And so that needs to be addressed also. And so how that is done is that the point of today is to honor the priest and pastor in your life. Understand that you might not be able to meet their financial need, but you can meet a spiritual, physical, or even emotional need. The best way I've been remembered in my ministry is by people allowing me to have extra time with my family. The Lord has allowed me to receive vacations as gifts. He's also allowed me, to have adventures that wouldn't be possible unless people poured into me and my family. So they've allowed me, hey, go do this, go take care of that. And they were able to do things that allowed me to be with my family, which is the greatest gift they could give me. So the challenge I have for you today is to look for ways to serve the priest in your life. Be extravagant, because ministry is difficult and often lonely. Serve the priest and watch what happens to his soul. And don't forget to give an encouraging word, because that truly will lift him up in his life and in the life of his family. Because when you know you're loved, even when things aren't going well, it's easy to approach life in a positive way. So I hope today made sense. I had to change a lot of this because I don't want it to seem self-serving. And so hopefully you just look for people in your life who are ministry leaders, and how you can serve them, and look for different ways to do it that can meet a need. And in my opinion, time is the greatest need that we have, and time with family is the most important. So thank you for being here today. Tomorrow we'll be in Deuteronomy chapter 1 through 2. Have a good day.